We will talk about evolution in a moment, but I'd like to start off with your other book, which is about God. And this book has been translated in 31 different languages. It's been selling very well in many countries, including very religious countries like Brazil. So the question comes to mind, do you think there are a lot of closet atheists out there hiding and embarrassed to expose themselves as non-believers?
I certainly hope so, and I do think so. I have traveled a lot in the United States promoting the God delusion, and I particularly have traveled in parts of the United States that are described as the Bible Belt. And so I was expecting to get a somewhat mixed reception, but in the event, everywhere I went, I got huge audiences, enormously enthusiastic, thousands of people, all apparently agreeing with me that there is no God and we'd be better off not believing in one. And I think that exactly as you say, there are lots and lots of closet atheists who, at least in the United States, have never really dared to stand up and say that's what they are. So when I go to a place like Oklahoma, which is said to be a very religious state, 3,000 people showed up in one hall, and they stood up at the end, and I think they looked at each other and they realized I'm not alone. There are others like me, even in Oklahoma.
Or even in Brazil, you could say. Where do you find the strongest resistance to your ideas, if not geographically, like Oklahoma and the Bible Belt, intellectually? Where do you find the challenge?
Well, I shouldn't leave you with the impression that I got no resistance in Oklahoma, by the way. There was a congressman in Oklahoma who tried to get my talk banned and tried to censure the University of Oklahoma for inviting me. So there was opposition from politically powerful forces. Serious opposition. I don't think there is a hell of a lot of serious opposition. I think the most serious criticisms I get are from people who say, I'm an atheist, but, and I'm getting very, very used to that phrase, I'm an atheist, but, and they accuse me of being impolite, discourteous, not sufficiently sympathetic towards religious people. I think that's a misperception, by the way. I think that there is a general feeling, we've all been brought up to believe that you mustn't criticize religion. You cannot criticize religion. And therefore, even a fairly mild criticism of religion sounds aggressive, sounds strident, sounds shrill. Actually, I would like to think that The God Delusion is quite a funny book. I don't know whether the humor shows through in translation, but I hope so.
The book makes clear that you would prefer to see a world without religion. But then the argument comes from many people who say, well, how about the relief that religion provides to many people? Like people who have lost their loved one and think, well, at least I can meet them and on the other side.
Yes. I do think that's a serious point. People do undoubtedly get consolation from religion. The first thing to say about that is that because something is comforting and consoling, that doesn't, of course, make it true. It's obviously a logical fallacy to suggest that because something makes you feel good, that makes it true. There are those who would rather not hear the truth, and a good test would be, would you wish your doctor to tell you when you have a fatal disease? Some people would prefer not to know when they have a fatal disease. Some people would prefer their doctor to tell them. And doctors often make a judgment whether they're dealing with the kind of patient who needs to know the truth or the kind of patient who would prefer not to know the truth. So I think it's rather an analogous case. I don't think you could ever say that it would be a justification for not writing a book, the fear that somebody might be upset about it. If you're going to be upset about reading my book, don't read it.